Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the First Draft podcast. My name is Rabbia, and I'm your host today. With me in the studio, we have some really amazing guests. We have Miss Alexandra, and we have a boss. Say hello, guys. All right, well, they're being a little shy at the moment, so we'll just keep going. So we talked a little bit, if you caught the last episode of the Editors Roundtable podcast that we also produce here, we spoke about starting a new show. So thank you so much for sticking with the Editors Roundtable. And if you've moved on to us from them, that's awesome. We'd love to have you. And I kind of wanted to start off by explaining a little bit about what we're going to be talking about in this particular podcast. The Editors Roundtable focuses a lot on what we do at the Collegian and our stories for the week and things like that. This is going to be a little different. The first draft is more about kind of just inside the mind of a college student today. So whatever issues we deal with, whatever kind of thoughts, opinions we're having at the moment, that's what we're going to be talking about. And it's called the first draft because these are our raw and uncut opinions. We don't talk about it beforehand. We just come up with the topic, we let each other know, and then we spill right here. So recently, a couple days ago, I was scrolling through social media and I saw a really interesting video about somebody talking about how everybody feels like they're so important these days. And when everyone feels like they're so important, it becomes hard to kind of connect with others that you meet. And it really made me think about what it's like nowadays, especially being a college student in your early, 20s, maybe late teens, even in your early 30s. Trying to connect with people, trying to make friends, it's so much harder. And it makes me think about, when you were younger and you'd go out on the playground and you'd meet a random kid and suddenly, within 2 minutes of knowing each other, you would be, best friends. Like she said in that scene from High School Musical, you meet a random kid and you become best friends and somehow, you end up just sticking around and knowing that that person's going to be there for you and this is your person. And I wonder what happened to that feeling. Because now as an adult, it seems so hard to be able to meet people and to connect and try and form a connection. Because now it seems like either everybody has an ulterior motive or nobody's just really willing to connect with others on that personal level, probably because once you hit that age where you're in your 20s or in your 30s, you've been hurt enough times or you've been through enough that you just don't want to put yourself back out there. And that can be fine. That's definitely a stage that everybody goes through. I'll speak on my personal experience. That's the stage that I'm going through right now where you've kind of gone through enough and you've been through enough hardships and friendships where you kind of just want to hold on to what you have and not add or subtract to it, which is, it's okay. But at the same time, I think it says a lot about our society that we kind of don't have the trust in people that we used to. There's a lot that goes into being friends with someone. There's a lot that goes into trusting someone. And whether or not you can bring yourself to do that at the moment, it's a decision that you have to make on your own, You have to be able to trust people at your own pace and in your own way. And I think a lot of that starts out with trusting yourself. You can't be a part of a friendship. You can't be a part of a relationship without knowing exactly who you are and knowing exactly what you want. And being in your 20s is such a hard thing because everybody's at a different place and everybody wants something different. And trying to figure out where you are in that mess of noise can be like a maze. I turned around the other day, I opened my social media, and there's people I know from high school who are totally wiped out on drugs and have no idea what's going on in their lives. And then there are people who are getting married and having kids. And then there are people like me who are in college and don't exactly know where they're going or what they're doing, but they're there and they're trying. So I guess whatever stage of life you're at, it's important to know that it's okay.
Well, I hate to be the elder in here, I kind of get what you're saying when you're 20. By the way, I'm Mike. I'm the producer of this podcast. 20, because it's kind of strange for me because when I turned 18, I went to the military and I was gone. So my whole mindset when I got back, I developed a whole new set of friends when I went across the world that I'm still cool with now. Matter of fact, in July, I'm going to one of my friends' retirement from the Navy. He did his whole 20. I did 4, got out. Fuck that shit. Mm-hmm. But he persevered through it, and now he's about to get checked. So when I got home, your mentality is different from a lot of people. It's like kind of like when you go to college and you come back to your hometown, and like you said, these classes of people that you was probably once was cool with, you be like, ugh, what kind of shit you on now? I'm saying you on drugs, and I don't know. What I'm saying I'm not. What I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying that's you. That's cool, But I'm saying I'm not on that. I'm not on that. And it's kind of hard to meet new people because you're not vulnerable anymore. You know what I'm saying? So you etch this space out for yourself. And I learned over the years, because I just turned 39 this past weekend, you have to let some of those walls down. If you build walls up, you're never going to see past anything and get to meet new people or new opportunities, stuff like that. I met a friend, and believe it or not, this is when I was working at Sprint. I was 20, I want to say I was 24. And my personality, the first time I seen him, like, man, that guy, he a real sucker, Look at him coming to the classroom speaking, hi everybody, I'm saying? And I was like, what kind of bullshit is this? I'm like, why are you speaking to everybody? That's crazy. But we ended up getting cool over the rap group 3-6 Mafia, and he's one of my best friends to this day. And also, don't be afraid if you meet new people off the internet to meet them, because that's how friendships develop also.
Be safe, but be trusting, but be safe.
Be safe. Meet in a public place. But I met these amazing people, more like brothers now, and we went to Nationals. This is 2019. This is where I first met my friend Sean. And he came to the hotel and he bought chicken wings and everything, and we just had a grand good time in the hotel, just wilding out, in the hotel lobby, just wilding out, and we just went around D.C. So, learn to, be safe, but learn how to knock down some of those walls. If you're in your 20s, learn how to not put up walls or knock down some of those walls that you do put up. So you can, be well-rounded in life, So that's my opinion.
I really agree with that. I think there's another thing that we always need to consider, especially recently. You're going to see a lot of extreme values, but also keep in mind, we're coming back from, I hate to beat a dead horse with this, but we're coming back from a pandemic where we were only safely interacting with each other on a 2D screen. That's how we were for a good 2 years. Yeah. And I'm not saying that we're right back to where we were in the beginning, because we're not. Some of that, there's definitely just a stigma but with making friends in your 20s, because you're going to be going so fast in your own mind. You're here, there, and keep in mind that it means everything to you when you're 20, because that's when you think you have to be where you need to be for the rest of your life. That's not the case at all. I mean, you can't predict what the rest of your life's going to be, and trying to fit it all within the amazingness that is your roaring 20s is not the way to go about it. But we get caught up in that mindset, so we keep running and running and running, and sometimes we forget that you're sacrificing your own personal relationships with the success that you want or you think you need to have by that time, you know what I mean? That's some of the problems that you'll find with people wanting to make friends in their 20s. You're all in different places. I'm a little bit older than you, just a few years.
6 years.
Than you?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm about to turn 20 at the end of the month, y'all.
Nice.
Are you?
No, I'm 21.
Oh, no, I thought you said...
No, Juan said I'm 26.
Juan said you're 26. I was
He
like,
thinks I'm 30, really.
I don't know why, because when he said that, too, I was like, I feel like Alex is not 26.
Either way.
Thank you,
but
Juan, for the confusion.
I will say that I have a very... My cynicism lends to people thinking I'm older. Also, I have a lot of wrinkles.
So not have wrinkles, Alex.
But here's the my point is, you're going to find so many different people, and whenever you're in your 20s, you're changing constantly because you're trying to fit into where you want to be. You're just out of most of the time, especially here, you're just out of the rigidity of scheduled high school. You're just out there trying to figure out. Some people go to extremes, like they go into drugs, or they get married as soon as they can because they find the person that they love and things like that. And other times you're just going to be trying to figure out who you are, and that can change week by week if you don't like what you're seeing. And trying to reconcile that with making friends in a very in college, which is semester based, and the schedule for college is different than high school because you only see these people like maybe twice a week if you only really interact with them in classes. So there's too many levels to trying to put like interpersonal relationships in college just on the fault of college, you know what I mean? Because everyone's different. Like, I've made great friends, but I rarely talk to them because we're all incredibly busy. Like, the friends I had in high school that went to 4-year colleges instead of 2-year like I do, they don't talk to me because they're too busy doing like structured graduate classes now.
You make new friends in 2-year college?
I've made new friends. I have y'all. But that's through an organization that I applied to be in my workplace. You know what I mean? I see y'all pretty much. I see you every day, pretty much. And I see Jose, and I bother Jose like
Juan, Austin.
Yeah, Juan, Austin, and everyone like that. Yeah, I see y'all so much that I can't help but become friends with y'all. Well, but that's because I see y'all on a daily basis. A lot of college classes aren't like that, especially here. They're on either you have that class that you only go to on Tuesdays, right?
Yes.
Can you see yourself making any major friends? Exactly.
I mean, I just made a great friend, for my class on Tuesday.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, Ken. We work at. Matter of fact, we take the same. What you call that, counseling class together. Now we work at the same site together. So, he educates me on stuff, and I educate him on stuff. He's 50, so.
Wow.
He's about to turn 50, but, it's possible,
Oh, yeah.
Anything is possible, if you let your mind be open to it. So.
Yeah. I will say there's a lot more, it might just be because of how young people are, especially the 20-year-olds, but I think the main reason that it's so highlighted in your brain, and possibly the person who was posting this video, is because you went from seeing those people in high school every day. Especially if you went the route that I went to the same what's that word? Elementary school, then middle school, high school. I saw the same people for 12 years of my life. I couldn't help but become friends with them because they were just always there and they always knew me. So coming into college, especially if you are going to a 4-year school or even just a 2-year school, that's completely different from where you've been your whole life. You're going to see that as I can't really figure out my place or figure out my way of making friends because the people that you're so used to seeing aren't there, so you can't go to those same avenues.
That, and also I think it's a testament to see, once you're out of high school and you're not forced to see the same people every single day, to not be around this same group, you kind of have to come to the understanding of, would I choose to be friends with you? Because that was something I definitely went through. It's going to be a year now since I stopped speaking to a friend of mine who we were very, very close in high school. Very, very close in high school. And then we left high school, and you kind of start seeing the flaws in your friendship that may have been there before, but you kind of were able to ignore them because you see each other every day.
Yeah.
You can't fight with someone every day. It gets tiring. And so at some point, like, you make the decision that I think it's best if we're not a part of each other's lives.
Yeah.
And as hard as it is to do that, I think it's important that every adult learn to make that choice, make that decision. But that doesn't make it any easier.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the end of the day, you do miss people who used to be in your life. But that's one thing that I think definitely changed my experience going from high school to college. Because, you know, I graduated high school 2020. So I missed out on, like, the whole half year of my senior year.
Yeah.
And then a whole year of college because everything was online. So there's like a big gap between when I was when I assumed I would figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's definitely an interesting place to be in. Like I said, I have like 3 people that I consider like close friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good, like, I'm very grateful to have that many. I think even just being able to have one person that you consider as a close friend in your life is a very big blessing. So it takes a lot to be able to now, especially, I think, try and open up and create that friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easier to have acquaintances, just people that you can kind of talk to and chill with every so often.
Yeah.
But I think the term friend can be thrown around very loosely. Like, for me, the word friend is like, I'm there for you, and I know you are going to be there for me.
Yeah.
It should be like a mutual thing, you know? And I feel like a lot of people just don't have time for that these days, which is fine. You know, everybody has their own priorities, and I think if somebody wants to make you a priority in their life, they're going to do that.
I will say, one of the major things that you brought up, which is good about, like, having that friend, I only have one major friend that I talk to that I've had since, like, freshman year of high school.
How many Facebook friends do you have?
Not a lot, dog. Not a lot. No, none of them really friended me on Facebook. But you'll start to realize, at least I did very quickly, how much communication goes beyond just... Communication as key is always touted for, like, romantic relationships. It's not the only place that it's important, though.
Yeah.
Communication just in general with people that you care about is incredibly important. And sometimes those communication problems can make it so that, well, I still care about you, but it's obvious that this won't help. You know what I mean? And I had to deal with that a few times. I'm lucky to have the one that I still have, because I'm amazed he's stuck around this long. Another thing. Oh, I can't remember. You said something else at the end there. Never mind.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something everybody has to figure out on their own, you know?
Yeah.
But I think the first thing that everyone should work on is themselves.
Oh, yeah.
You should work on figuring out who you are, what you want, and what you're willing to give in a relationship. And when I say relationship, I don't just mean romantic relationship. Being a friend, I think, is also a relationship.
Yeah.
It's a type of relationship.
I will say, and you brought up a good point, and we kind of circled back to the one that I made earlier. You do need to know who you are, because have you heard that phrase? I have 5 different faces for 5 different friend groups.
Oh yeah.
You can. Some people just easily can. You'll see personalities from friends that you have that you've never seen before, and I think that's in part because we're so young. Me and you are so young. Mm-hmm. We're still figuring out who we are. I'm trying on different faces, seeing which one fits the best. You know what I mean? So that'll also make it so you don't feel like you can make friends so easily, because you're trying to fit in with yourself. Like, do I do this face? Do I say this? What do I do here? Stuff like that. And that makes it hard to figure out who you want as friends and who's not if you don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Me, myself, you have to learn how to be comfortable with yourself as a person. You have to learn what you like to do, and believe it or not, I got that information from I got it from, you know what I'm saying, I know a pimp, you know what I'm saying? Wow. And he was like, you know, you have to remove stuff from your life, you know, just take 6 months if you can. And you have to, figure out, you know, what kind of foods I like to eat, because with social media, you can be influenced with, I like this because they like it. Or I like this this rock group because they like this rock group, or this that. So just remove yourself from everybody. And even if you're in a relationship, it's hard, but a person should understand. Hey, I'm trying to go through this. I'm going through this. Hey, just be here with me. But I'm just trying to figure some stuff out. So go out to eat by yourself.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I tell anybody. Just start doing stuff by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know how hard it is for people to go out to eat by themselves?
I never understood this. I was always the kid who needed time for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as much of a social person as I am, you can ask my mom, too. I would have play dates, or, we would have parties at our house. I would sit downstairs with everybody, play for maybe, 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. But when I was done, I need me time.
Okay.
I have to go.
You can hit a limit.
And I feel like it's so important, like you said, to spend time with yourself and your own thoughts. Turn off the music, turn off the TV, turn off your phone, and just sit with your own mind for a little while.
And a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah,
because,
no.
What? They don't like the voice that they're hearing.
Yeah.
In their head, and I'm not, well, this personal wise, I have a close person in my life, she can't, sit in silence.
Yeah.
I'm
like that too, genuinely.
And I'm like, I love silence. I love, because I'm bombarded like a boss can attest. My Facebook is wild as hell, and my Facebook is wild. So
you should check it out.
No, they shouldn't. And from everything, like all the opinions and everything, just being bombarded, people arguing, all this shit, and you just step away. Let me just turn the notifications. I wish a lot of people can't do themselves.
Yeah.
Either delete that app or just hit log out. And that would, just my opinion, that would help a lot of people. Just to ease down, calm down. Find your chi. So
if anything, if I can say anything, the thing with silence with me, the reason why I said that earlier is because the silence that you find yourself in, it has to be your choice, though.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, what's that word?
Forced upon you.
Exactly. Because the way that I was, whenever I was younger, my parents worked constantly. My sister left as soon as she graduated. That next week she was gone. And so for a good, 6 years, I was alone in my house for at least 9 to 10 hours every day.
Wow.
After school. I would just be alone. By myself with my thoughts, maybe with one of my pets, maybe not, because my mom would take one of our dogs with her to work. So I'd just be in an empty house all day. So yeah, I know what silence is, but I'll be damned if I want to sit in it too long whenever I could have a choice to not be in it. I know what my mind is. I know how it is if it's put into silence for too long, if I didn't choose the silence. And I'd rather not be in that for so long. And that's why I want to make friends with people and I want to talk to people to help me work through that. You know what I mean?
I get it. I'm the opposite of you. I'm an only child. So, and I know probably, because you grew up in the 2000s.
Yeah.
So, I grew up in the 80s. So me being the only child, I love it because I get to have all this free thoughts, I'm creative, I get to think of shit to do or shit to get into or stuff like this. So when my cousins and stuff come on, I'm like, damn, y'all here? I'm like, shit. I'm like, damn, when y'all go home. And they kind of got me, it's pretty much my personality. I consider myself an extrovert introvert.
Yeah,
so
same.
An ambivert?
Ambivert, yeah. I'm 60-40.
I'm an ambivert.
So, I can tell jokes, all this shit, and just, I can, be the life of a party, but when it's time,
give me time, yeah.
Get the hell away from me.
Exactly, yeah.
I had, a mix of both of you. So I have 2 older brothers, And I grew up in the joint family system, as we call it, in like the Pakistani Desi community. So my grandparents lived in the house with us. So it was my parents, my grandparents, my 2 older brothers, and me. I was always surrounded by adults. I have maybe one cousin who is the same age as me, and he lived in New Mexico growing up. We lived here in Texas. So I was so overstimulated by adults, by adult conversation, and constantly told to look at the big picture that I forgot that I wasn't an adult as a child.
Yeah.
So I savor the moments of quiet, again, that I choose.
Yeah.
Because I definitely went through a lot where I was the only kid around. So I was so bored all the time. And then when there were so many kids around, I needed my time to be alone. So as an adult now, I take out the time to go be by myself outside. I love being in nature. So, I have my place, my special place that I love, and I take time to go there and just be still.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I feel like hits reset for me. If I'm feeling like really down, or if I've had like a really overstimulated week and I just need to hit that reset, being outside and taking a moment to just breathe.
Yeah.
Even consciously focusing on your breaths, I think, is something that can be so beneficial. Focus in on feeling the air go into your body and then letting it out. And it can really help cleanse a part of you.
Here's the thing. I do that too. I have like reset moments. It's the exact opposite though. I have
Really?
to go into a dark, air-conditioned, almost freezing room and just sit. Because I have light sensitivity. And so easily, if I'm outside for too long or if I'm staring at a computer for too long, I get like almost debilitating migraines. Almost debilitating migraines. So it gets to the point where if I get overheated, and I get overheated easily, and I have too much of a migraine, I have to stop in a cold, dark room, quiet. The only sound I want to hear is my air conditioner.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, my friends, the close one that I have, he understands that perfectly. Me and him, we have exact opposite ways. Whenever I have to stop, he has to go. If we're stressed, I have to stop and think about my next steps. He just goes because he needs to get something done. And it's funny because he's the exact opposite in his normal daily life. We're exact opposites in both ways. I'm always going, and then he just has to stop, and it goes, Jesus.
Those are the best.
Yeah. It's that understanding of when you need
Yeah.
that alone time is what's needed.
I think it just goes to show, you have to find exactly what you need to calm down and to get yourself back in alignment. So I guess that just goes to show you everybody needs something different. And if there's anything you listeners can get out of this episode, I hope it's to take a time to be with yourself, to love yourself, to give yourself whatever it is you need, and to know it's not selfish to do that. It's really important to find out exactly what you need to be loved and to give that to yourself before you expect it from another person. So thank you so much for joining us today at the First Draft Podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. We out.
Okay.
Good job.
Hit the button.